My name is Paul Maluli. I'm a WP Carey Finance student at the School of Business, and I will be discussing as to why we should not be involved in the Middle East at all. So, before I get started, I would like to state one statement that I believe summarizes the Middle East conflicts perfectly and the Middle East as a whole in one sentence. If it's not something, it's something else. Or if it's not one thing, it's the other. And this is seen throughout history with the Middle East that even if we solve one problem, there will be another. So we have to keep that in mind before we continue to fight these battles that just keep repeating themselves. Now, due to the fact that America is a fully developed global superpower, we are often seen as the defender of countries. We can assume well that America will go to the aid of other countries because they need help and they are smaller, which is fine because of our economy and how developed we are as a country. We should be able to help other countries, but we must help ourselves first before we help these other countries. Now, time and time again throughout history, we have come to the defense of several countries. Did you know that for out of 239 years, out of 239 years, America has been at war for over 220 of them. That means that we have been at war for 93% of our existence. That's a really long time. Now, the U.S. forces have been in Afghanistan since 2001, making it the longest conflict in U.S. history. We are constantly bombing countries such as Libya, Syria, Somalia, Yemen, Pakistan, and now there are good reasons for these bombings because we are preventing ISIS, Al Qaeda, and terrorist forces, obviously. But does it really help? Does our involvement really help? Has it really ever stopped anything? And my answer is no. As we saw in the Frontline documentary with Obama, the second that we pulled our troops out, ISIS grew 7 heads. They expanded rapidly into Syria. They took over the oil reserves and almost controlled the country. And they did control the country, actually. And we had to get right back involved because, in my opinion, whenever we get involved, I call it the systematic pendulum. Or the wave. It's very simple. We see a problem, we see the country going down, we see it hit its lowest point, and that's when we get involved, or they ask us to get involved, or we kind of have to, before it starts to affect us. And we get involved at their lowest point, okay? And I'll look over here so you can see. And then we get involved. It gets better, it's getting a lot better, and then eventually we say, hey, it's probably at its best. I think we can leave now. And that's the problem, because every time we say this, it goes right back down to square one. We saw this with Obama in the Frontline documentary. It's getting great. We thought it was over. Was not over. Went straight back down. Had to send more troops over. Get it back to square one. Same thing has been happening throughout history. So we have been involved. Gets better. Goes back to crap. Now, we have no good reason to be involved in the Middle East countries. There is no good reason for us to get involved. And yes, we have more obligations as countries to attempt to help those people who are attempting horrendous acts on their citizens, but how much of our involvement is needed and how much of it is actually good? Because we waste billions of dollars each year and seeing that money go to no good use other than bombs and taking innocent lives. And each year that we get involved with the Middle East is another 10 years added on to the time that we've spent there, or that we plan on spending there. Now, our involvement in the Middle East has really done nothing, and we see that throughout history. Every time we leave, it gets worse, and every time we come back, we fix it, but then it gets worse again. So we just keep dropping bombs and wasting billions for no good cause. And if we can, I think, in my personal opinion, the best thing that we can do as a country is to aid them in a social sense, as to where we can broker a deal between the fighting parties. And the problem with the Middle East is persistence. If we keep enabling them to go back to their old habits and traits, then we are the problem because we keep reigniting the war almost every time we leave. Now, we need to broker an agreement between the parties that will be maintained. That's the problem. We need to make sure that they will consistently stick to the agreement that is brokered. If not, we will be stuck on this systematic pendulum that we always see throughout history, and we will be wasting billions and billions doing the same thing. So in 5 years, some kid in my shoes can repeat my argument about new facts. So the only way to really get out is if we broker an agreement that sticks, and if we can enforce it in some way militarily, that would make it stick. That's, in my opinion, the only way we can really get out.